mistakes are correct. I myself didn't actually hear a record of Sonic Youth until 1988 when Daydream Nation came out. It was the recording I played most that year that made me proud of music. The world that year felt kind of overwhelming, torrential, sad, but tough and lovely. And that record was the way the world was, which is everything you want from pop music and the best art. And that music not only reflects the world, it creates it, as Thurston does. So, I'm really happy and proud to present Thurston the award of our time. Thurston's got to step out here.
I'd like to thank The Fly magazine for nominating me as a living legend. Thank you, The Fly. I'd like to thank Matador Records. My vote for best record label in the world is Matador Records. And I share this with them. Thank you, Matador Records, for helping me be a living legend. And thank you, Richard Hell. Richard Hell is the reason I am a living legend. When I was 19 years old, I drove my Volkswagen Beetle to CBGB's. But I didn't have any money to get in, even though it was only $3 US to enter into that shithole. That beautiful, glorious place where I found definition for my life as a living legend. But I couldn't enter into the door because I had no money. But lo and behold, Richard Hell was standing there in the doorway, and he had the stamp on his hand that everybody needed to get inside of CBGB. And I asked him if he could help me get in there, and he spit on his hand and tried to make an imprint on my own hand so I could enter. It was not successful, but it didn't matter because I had that moment with Richard Hell. And I became a living legend. So, I love you, London. I really do. And I always dreamed about moving here when I was maybe around 20 years old. But again, I couldn't afford the airfare. So I could only dream about coming here and hanging out with all the living legends of London that I admired so much. But Richard Hell came here in 1977, and earlier tonight he was telling me a story about being on tour here with the Voidoids in 1977 on this special tour with the Clash and the Slits and all these other groups. And how when the Voidoids played at the Music Machine, I think it was called, that when they left the stage, Johnny Rotten came out and got the audience to say, come on, one more for this great band, Richard Hell and the Voidoids. And they came out and did one more song. And then in the dressing room, Johnny Rotten came back and said to Richard Hell, you know, you got a really big nose. That's how living legends communicate with each other. That's all it takes to keep it real in the living legend universe. Now, when I first came to London, it was the early 80s, and I came over here with my band, Sonic Youth, and nobody knew at all who we were. Nobody. And we happened to get a gig at some venue that was simply called The Venue. And there was 3 bands on the bill, of which we were one. And we were vying to go on second, but the other bands were local. One of them was called SPK, which is short for Surgical Penis Clinic. Well, they were from Australia. They used to show hospital evisceration films behind them while they played. And they used to bang on metal and make lots of noise. They were fantastic. But at this moment in time, they sort of went into a disco mode, and they were trying to play sort of some new wave disco. And it wasn't really going over very well with the audience. Not like my performance tonight. And anyway, they were the headliners. And the other band on the bill was Danielle Dax. Do you remember Danielle Dax? Wonderful woman. But we got in a fight with her that night because she wouldn't let us play second. Because she said we had already gone abroad and we had that glory. And she was kind of right, so we played first. And 15 minutes into our set, they closed the curtain on us while we were destroying our instruments. And we were very sad, and we had no money, and we went to Victoria train station, and there was a tube strike going on. And it was raining out. And we sat there all night long waiting to figure out how to get to Heathrow so we could return to our homes. And I think back onto that night, it's not too different than tonight. But tonight is different, because tonight, you have awarded me this Living Legend Award. I didn't see this coming, and I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. And I do love you, London. Thank you so much. Two songs with my new London band, which is basically me and another guitar player right now from Stoke Newington, James Sedwards. So I'm going to play 2 songs, but since every other band played 3 songs, I'd like my first song to be a video of a song that I made. It's really short, so I'll start with that while I plug my shit in.